you. This is the site creation ps file. Before this is a include .ps1. This file basically contain all the you can say all the functions that I'm going to common function that I'm going to use it. For example, this is connect. So this connect is basically used for connect to the PNP online with the app ID and secret that I have already gone through, that how we can register our app into site collection level, not a site collection but a tenant level. So there is another, this is another is called update status. So here I'm going to call the site creation. This is my tenant URL and this is the site creation URL. So this is, I've already show you that I have already created one site collection. Within that I have one list is, so it's called the list name is new site creation request list. So what I'm going to do, I'm connected here and I have already the ID and the status, and here I'm going to update the status based on that value whatever the user going to pass it here. So this is another for external sharing. I'm doing the same. So whatever the user pass the value here, I'm going to directly updated this external sharing status. So this is the main ensure site, and here I have a bunch of the parameter: title, site URL description, and the site collection admin, and the site and the site template. So right now I'm not using the site template, so I'm passing the hard coded value. So here I'm going to calculate the storage. Basically it is in bytes. So for that we will require for example, if the storage quota 5 GB, then we need to convert it into the 1024. Then we will got the actual byte, and these byte I'm going to use in the parameter. So 80% I'm using the 80% of the quota limit warning. Whenever it will reach to the 80%, the user get the email notification. So these are all the settings I'm going to here, and these values storage quota I'm going to pass from the application settings in our web job. So here if you see, this is connect.url. this is going to connect with the tenant, and here this is get PNP tenant site will basically check whether the site is exist or not, and if and based on that we will so it will return the true and false. Basically if the site is already exist, it will return false. If it is execute successfully, it will return true. So here if you see this false, that the site does not exist, then we're going to create it here. So based on that I have all the parameters. We can pass the parameter like this as well in the object form. If for example, if we require to pass some of the value in the dynamic, so we can do this. And the later for example, for the template, we can append the template based on the condition as well, but right now I'm not using the condition. You can modify the script as per your requirement. I'm going to put this script into the GitHub, so you can pull each and everything. So whatever I have so you can use it. So this is the site this is the new tenant site. This will create a tenant site based on the parameter, and then again I will check whether this will generate the error or not. If it is generate the error equal to false, if it's execute successfully, that will return true. If it is not, if it is then it is this is the basically the way to check the execution of the last function, whether it is execute successfully or not. If it is not, then I'm going to update the status to the error. And here is my site entity, the global variable that I'm going to set inside the function, one of the function. So I will going to show you. So this is again whether if it is in the process, then we will wait, right? The site is already exist, and we will check whether when it is available or not. So I'm going to sleep here. So if it is active, then I'm going to break it. So this is how. And now so this set the external user sharing. So I'm using this for external sharing as well. So for that I'm going to check whether the site is exist by connecting to the tenant and printing the URL, and here I'm going to check whether it exists. If it exists, I make it exist, and the site, if it is not, then I mention that site does not exist. so it's wrong. I'm not going to create it here, I'm going to delete it. So site does not exist, and then I'm going to exit it here. So I'm going to exit straightforward here if it is not exist. So that's it. And this is the another way to check whether it is site already in exist. If it is exists, that I'm going to check just set.pnp tenant site and passing the URL, and here I'm going to set the external sharing only, and it will enable the external user sharing only. So these are there are a 4 parameters we can use, but you can check into the GitHub library and in the GitHub site, so PNP GitHub site, and you can check the what are else parameter exist, and based on that you can put it here. So get unique site, basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to based on the title, I'm going to connect the admin and check whether it is exist. If it is exist, I'm going to replace the numbers and the special characters from there, and here I'm going to check remove the white spaces as well. If it is it is null, then I'm going to put teams and check whether it is exist or not, and then still if it is not exist, then I'm going to append the add at the end, and then I'm going to return the URL. It means that the URL is unique. So check variable, basically this function is used to whether the variable are available, the environment variable, or you can say application variable are exist or not. So we can check it like this. And the set site URL at the end, when the site is created, I'm going to update the list and make the and update the URL of the site. And this is the final send access request URL. I'm not going to use it, I'm going to delete this. So here set the secondary admin. So here I'm going to use set the secondary admin. It is the process is similarly the same. So basically I'm checking whether the site is exist or not. If it is exist, I'm going to set the PNP site status and the owner value to site collection admin. Here we can pass the more than one value as well, comma separated if required. So this is the end of the include section, or the common function. And here the main part we are going to use. I'm tracing a neighbor, and I'm checking whether the variable check the global variable. If it is variable exit, if the variable is not is any one of them missing, then I'm directly going to exit it, right? So and here this is the tenant URL. So once it is exist, so I'm passing all the variable URL here, primary, secondary, admin, and the site collection URL quota and resource quota. These are all, and the URL of this is a hard coded, and this is a map path, and this is the last context URL, and this is and the app ID, secret ID. And here I'm going to, if you are inside the proxy, so you can check this. If you specify the proxy, then you need to add this line as well. So here these are the variable. I'm just getting converted into the URI, and I'm written the schema, and then I'm going to replace with the SharePoint with -admin.sharepoint.com. So this is the include file .ps1. I'm going to save it. And another one, these are the two files that I'm going to use. The first one is a site creation file. So site creation file, let me going to show you. This is the main function is called get items. So I'm going to also I'm going to put this into include file as well, but this is the difference. This is not common, it is based on the script. So I'm going to check the status of the list, and then I'm going to get only those items whose choice is pending. So here I'm going to return all the values, but I'm not required these, only I required this ID. So I'm going to delete it as well. I'm going to save this, and now I'm going to get PNP item, specify the list in the query, and it will return the items. And this is here I'm going to calculate the total. I'm already calculate inside the function, and here as well the 2 times. So I'm going to delete this, not required. So variable, I'm going to check the variable again, and whether it is variable is not available, then I'm going to exit it and print it and exit it. So here this is the get items, this function, and this get item, I'm checking whether this returning the null value. If it is true, then I'm going to check whether it is not equal to null and it has a count is greater than 0. If it is not, then I'm writing this no site request detected, and here if it is detected, then I'm going to loop it, right, and loop it. If it is not exist, then this collection must be empty and it will directly return to the disconnect PNP online. Now here what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the specific ID. Based on that, I am passing the URL and list of the URL and the ID, and these are the variable that I am interested. So I'm getting all these values, and here I'm already this function. I'm here, what I'm going to do, I'm just getting the email property and expand it value, and I got the URL, email address for both secondary and primary administrator. So now, and here this function is return the unique value, return URL from the name, so it will return the URL, and here I'm passing this is global variable, and as I have already mentioned, this is I'm passing here because this variable being used in the ensure site. So I'm writing the output, and not least, this is ensure site. I'm passing these parameters here and checking whether it is execute successfully. If it is execute successfully, then I'm going to do set the secondary administrator and set the secondary administrator, and then I'm going to, if the status pending, I guess, and then I'm going to update the URL as well and update the status to created. I am disconnected the PNP. So this is the process. I'm going to automate it, and list I'm going to show you how can I do it. I'm going to save this file, and I'm quickly open this is my tenant. I'm quickly show you my admin tenant. Apart from this, I have also created the sharing for external sharing. So let me quickly show you the sharing site as well. So it doing the same, and it just fetching the those values which are approved, right? So these are the approved values. So if you see, these are the approved values. So once it is done, then you will see I'm doing the same, but it is not required here because I have just copy pasted all the settings. So I'm going to delete this as well, save here, and now I'm getting the items and checking whether this items exist or this item converted into the multiple value. For that we need to require this backtick. Okay, so I'm loop through all the items and doing the same and getting the external sharing item here as well, and checking whether the site URL, if it is null, then the site not found. I'm going to exit directly, because this is the case when the external sharing is approved by but the site is not created. That might be the case. So if it is if it is the case, and it directly exit the site. If it is not, then it will fetch the URL from the site URL, and then it has set the external sharing, and it is execute successfully approved. Then I'm update the external sharing status to enable. So this is how it works. So I'm going to put all the data and everything into the code into the GitHub. So also specify the description in my in the description as well. You can quickly check it. And thank you very much. So I will catch you in the next section. So I will show you how I can run this script in my local environment. Then I'm run the same script. I'm going to push this script into the web jobs and getting things done. Thank you very much. So I will catch you soon, guys.